What did you say, Sonny?
You promised to let me do my act.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to...
I'm going to sing.
Oh, you can't do that because Elvis Presley has already sung.
Then I'll dance.
Well, the Jonathan Lucas have already, the dancers, they've already done that.
I can tell jokes. Nobody's done that yet.
Nobody's done that, huh? What do you think I'm doing out here?
Don't you know either?
Oh, quiet! Now, look, come back. You can't sing, you can't dance, you can't tell jokes. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do.
I can do imitation.
Well, you can? Do an imitation of Harry James and blow. Ladies and gentlemen. You can imitate Elvis Presley? No. No, don't imitate Elvis Presley, please. I don't want to. What are you doing? Hold it! What do you mean, what's the matter?
I was going over big.
Well, all you had to do is to say, Milton. All you had to do is to ask me and say, Mr. Burl, or would you let me sing a song? And I would have allowed you to sing a song. I think I'll go backstage and play claviage with the Hungarian.
Creative programming in television has been increasing by leaps and bounds. Viewers offered a variety of programs designed to educate and inform him. But no matter how far we go, one type of program will always be with us. Its appeal reaches out to children, touches the most sophisticated adults. It's the Western program. Guitars, 10-gallon hats, and cowboy boots make a combination that's assured of high ratings. So for all children and adults everywhere, here is our own Western show.
In television land. This is your old partner, Big Steve, and the whole gang, and it's mighty good to be here putting on our show for all you folks out there in television land. Right, gang? Yes, truly, I want to tell you, I love television land, and I love every one of you, and I love good, clean sportsmanship, and I love everybody. Ain't that right, gang? You know, and friends, it really is great. Contest for the name of that chord, but it really is great being out here in the Old West, just sitting on the edge of the cayuse and watching the corrals dogie down the trail while the chuck wagon skedaddles over the bunkhouse and the old buckboard is a hog tying the sagebrush. I mean, that's a nice piece. And you critters, if you want a longhorn or coyote, you just pinto out our way and we're going to mosey up a little mesa. Right, gang? All right. Shut up back there. Much noise I can hardly think. But you know, a lot of you cowpokes have written in and asked to know more about the gang here, and I'd like to know more about them myself. I don't trust any of them. Right, gang? I never think nobody. When I say I want quiet, I mean quiet. Now get this. First off, this critter here, come on up and crit for him. This is the critter here. Right on. All right, this is Rattlesnake Griffith, folks. He's a mighty brave man. He come to this ranch 10 years ago, and he didn't know the meaning of the word cowardice. No, sir. He didn't know the meaning of the word fear. Right, no, Rattlesnake?
Right. I was the dumbest cowboy you ever seen.
What's he talking about? Anyway, this doggy here is Tumbleweed Presley. Come on up, Tumble. Oh. I'll tell you about this fella. He is a trick rider. You ain't seen trick riding until you've seen Tumbleweed, right?
You tell him, Big Steve.
I'm telling him. You tell me to tell him, and I'll tell him. Yes, sir. But, you know, let me tell you, yesterday he went across the range on a full gallop blindfolded, and he picked up a rattlesnake with his teeth. He jumped 4 fences, and he dropped that snake into a gopher hole at a full gallop. Tell him why it was so tough, Tumbleweed.
I don't use no horse.
I don't think he's telling the truth. This one right here, this little girl... Get up here! Come on, wake up there. This is the little flower of the prairie, Cactus Coca. Now, you wouldn't believe it to look at her, but I don't believe it, and I'm looking at her. If you look out there, how many times am I going to have to tell you? This little girl, though, can ride and rope and shoot and fight just as good as every man on our ranch. Tell them why.
Because every man on our ranch is a big sissy.
They are not.
They are so.
Oh, shut up. Now, partner, we're a friendly bunch here, ain't we? First, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Word from the sponsor, right, Lynn?
Let's all
come on
step
up
up
here.
here.
You know, this program, Big Steve and the Gang, are brought to you by my good friends, the makers of Tonto Bars. That is the delicious candy, the candy that comes out of the Old West right into your old mouth, and that's what I mean. Now, the Tonto Bar is a big favorite out here in the West. Tell them why, Rattlesnake.
Well, sir, friends, it's cause they won't allow it in the East, that's why.
Blabbermouth. Anyway, friends, the Tonto Bar is a secret blend. I'll tell you how. The Tonto Bar, the Tonto people...
You'll get it right.
Yeah. The Tonto people, they take rich cream, and they take sweet sugar, and they take creamy caramel, and they take thick chocolate, and they take all that stuff home. I don't know what they put in the bar.
And look, friend, look how this Tonto Bar is wrapped. It's wrapped to keep that great Tonto flavor locked in there. Yes, sir, friends, if you ever unlocked it, you'd never buy nothing. These people...
And friends, dentists recommend Tonto bars because tests prove that Tonto causes more cavities than any other candy.
Yes, it sure is. I'll tell you one thing more, boy. Tonto is fresh. It's made fresh, it's wrapped fresh, and it's delivered fresh. It don't get stale till you put it in your mouth, but that's your look at it.
Just sink your old teeth into a Tonto bar and you'll say... But you can't get your mouth open again.
And kids, when you open your Tonto Bar, don't you throw away that wrapper. No, you keep that wrapper and burn that wrapper. Because if the Board of Health ever seen one, they'd put Big Steve away for life, and we wouldn't want
What
that.
are you telling me?
Don't forget, friends, that's the Tonto bar made by the Chemo Savvy Candy Company of Tomaine, Texas.
That's right. I'm going to open this thing right here and take a bite to show you just how much I like it. Here's it. Whoa, ho! Yes, good boy. All right, we're going with a little Western song going for you right now. Here we go. You stop that. We got a rapping band there. Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh. Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh. Yippee-yi-yay. Would you shut up there? You're making a fool of yourself tonight. Let's get a good lively tempo going here. 1, 2. Shut up with the bell there! I'll tell you one more time. Well, I got a girl, name is Sue. She's my little buckaroo. She's a Western Gallic horse, cactus skin and a face like a horse. Yippee-yi-oh, 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 party!
I got a ranch, it's way out west. It's the place I like the best, but I'm gonna tie the whole thing down and move that ranch to Levittown.
Hey, yippee-yi-oh, yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh, party!
I went out west on a wagon train, find a man like Big John Wayne. I looked around for days and days and ended up with Gabby Hayes.
Yippee-yi-oh, yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh, party! Tell him, Elvis!
Well, I got a horse, and I got a gun, and I'm going out and have some fun. I'm a warning you, galoot, don't step on my blue suede boots.
Yeah! Yippee-yi-oh, yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh, party!
think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
Now that the Army's part of the past, can you give us in detail some of your future plans?
Well, the first thing I have to do is to cut some records. And then after that, I have the television show with Frank Sinatra. And then I have the picture with Mr. Wallace. And then after that, I have 2 for 20th Century Fox. And after that, heaven knows, I don't. I suppose it'll keep me busy the rest of this year, you know. After that, I don't know.
Well, Elvis, now you're really home. How does it feel?
It's pretty hard to describe, I'll tell you. It's hard to get used to it, you know. I mean, I've been looking forward to it for 2 years, and all of a sudden, here it is. It's not easy to adjust to it.
Now that you are back, as you look back on your 2 years in the service, what was the most important thing that happened to you during your 2 years, whether it was overseas or here in the States?
Well, there were a number of things that happened. I had quite a few interesting experiences. Slept out in the snow, ate sea rations, you know, all the regular thing. But I suppose the biggest thing of all is the fact that I did make it. I made it just like everybody. I mean, I tried to play it straight, you know, like everybody else. And I made a lot of friends that I never would have made otherwise. And all in all, it's been a pretty good experience, you know.
You still have time to serve now for Uncle Sam. Have you given any thought as to where you're going to serve your reserve training?
Well, sir, I will be on the reserve status here in Memphis at the Reserve Center here. But they have a clause which covers people with traveling jobs. If you have a traveling job or if you live too far away from your reserve center, they put you on standby. Whereas you don't have to make their meetings, but you are subject to be called at any emergency or anything of that nature.
Elvis, one of your future commitments, as you mentioned, is the Frank Sinatra show on the ABC television network. Do you have any idea of when this will be aired?
I really don't know the exact date. I would imagine it's somewhere around the 1st of May.
Forgive me, I have one other part to my question. We understand, speaking of Frank Sinatra, that there has been some rumor about Nancy Sinatra and yourself. Is there a romance in the making here?
No, sir, I'm afraid not. I only met her in Fort Dix. And she gave me a gift from Frank. And it was very brief. I think she's engaged to Tommy Sands. I don't think he would appreciate that so much.
Thank you very much.
Elvis, you think the music has changed since you've been out of the service? I mean, since you've been in the service?
Possibly, yes. I can't say, really. I haven't been here long enough to even know. Excuse me. The only thing I can say is that if it has changed, well, I would be foolish not to try to change with it, you know. But as of now, I have no reason to change anything.
As to your acting, you have stated you would like to be a more serious actor. And do you plan to possibly go to some school or some dramatic school?
Well, it wouldn't hurt me any to go to school, but I learn best by experience. I never was very good in schools of any kind. And it's going to take me a long time and a lot of experience.
But that is your ultimate ambition?
But as at the present time, it really is. That's what I want to do.
Elvis, you were asked about Nancy Sinatra. How about any romance? Did you leave any heart, shall we say, in Germany?
Not any special one. There was a little girl that I was seeing quite often over there. That her father was in the Air Force, and actually they only got over there about 2 months before I left. I was seeing her, and she was at the airport when I left, and there were some pictures made of her, but it was no big romance. I mean, the stories came out, the girl he left behind, and all that. It wasn't like that. I mean, I had to be careful when I answer a question like that.
Elvis, in your service life, which did you find the most difficult? When you went into basic training, or when you got over into Germany, over with the experienced soldiers? Which gave you the hardest time?
Well, basic training wasn't hard for me at all. It was harder afterwards, after I had gotten into a regular outfit. Not the service itself, but just the surroundings, and I was in a strange land, and the outfit I was in, they had quite a bit of field duty. We stayed in the field 6 months out of the year. And it gets cold in Germany. It snows quite a bit. And it was pretty hard to adjust to.
One thing further on that, do you have any advice for the boys your age who are now going to have to put in a certain amount of duty in the service?
Well, the only thing I can say is to play it straight and to do your best, because you can't fight them. They've never lost yet, you know? And you can't fight them. So you can make it easier, you can make it hard on yourself. I mean, if you play it straight, get the people on your side, let them know you're trying, you as the Army would say, you've got it made. And if you're going to try to be an individual or try to be different, you're going to go through 2 years of misery.
Elvis, when do you think you'll record again? And when you do you think you'll lean toward the ballad-type music or the more upbeat sounds?
Well, as far as when I'll record, I really don't know. Possibly this week or next week. And what I'll record, I don't know yet. I've got quite a few songs to choose from. I've collected over the 2 years, but I don't know exactly what type or what instruments I'll use, whether it be the Firestone Orchestra or Monty Bunny or what. I really don't know yet. Shoot.
You said that at the train that that you wanted to get back to what you were doing, and of course that is singing and entertaining. And I take it from that you really enjoy what you're doing or what you were doing before you went into service.
Oh yes, I do. In fact, that was the hardest part of the entire military service, is being away from it.
Being away from the fans and
just being away from show business altogether. That was the hardest part of all. It wasn't the Army, it wasn't the other men. It was that. It stayed on my mind. I kept thinking about the past all the time. contemplating the future, and
Elvis,
that was the hardest part.
We know your family status has changed since you went into service. Are you going to keep Graceland? Do you have plans of moving away from Memphis? Or what?
No, sir, I have no plans for leaving Memphis.
And you're going to keep Graceland?
I'm going to keep Graceland as long as I possibly can.
Well, was this Christmas tree a surprise?
Well, since it's March, it's a little surprise. That's the tree we used in 1957.
We can leave the Christmas tree long enough. About your tonsils and the tonsillectomy that you were contemplating while you were in the service, did you deliberately ask that it be held off until you could get to the United States and a local doctor?
No, sir.
Or did they improve that much?
I didn't ask that. They don't like to perform surgery of any kind in Europe. Mm-hmm. They don't like to. If it's an emergency, they will. But I took penicillin and wonder drugs or whatever they call it.
And
I got
no
okay.
recurrence, huh?
I had 2 attacks of tonsillitis when I was there.
Elvis, did you like the food over there outside of the Army? When you would go out, you know, did you like that type of food?
I never went out, Charlie.
You never ate out in a restaurant?
I never ate in a restaurant the entire time I was in Germany. It's funny. I either ate in the mess hall or at home. One of the two. I never, in fact, I never went anywhere while I was in Europe except to Paris. I went to Paris and on a leave, and that was all.
Now, how did the fans respond to you over there as compared to here in the States?
Well, it's a pretty difficult question to answer because anything I'll say, it might sound a little like I'm bragging, you know. But it was pretty much the same there as here.
They had seen a lot of your movies.
And the records and so forth.
Well, in the course of 20 years in broadcasting, you end up interviewing a lot of people and sometimes even animals. And I suppose I've had my share, but this is the first time I've ever interviewed an automobile. And this automobile is not just an automobile. It's obvious that it's a Cadillac, I suppose. But this is Elvis Presley's Cadillac. And we just thought you might be interested in seeing a little bit about what this car really entails. The color I'd call silver mist on the outside, but inside, the entire motif is in gold. And we're going to show you some of the things that are on the inside of this fabulous automobile. By the way, this is a very conspicuous first, we're told. This is the very first time this car has ever been seen on television, and I hope it's not camera shy. We're going to open this door, and I'm going to walk around to the other side of the car and get on the other side and show you some of the things that are in this Elvis Presley Cadillac. So bear with us, And we walk and walk, and it's like walking around a city block, as a matter of fact. It's a pretty long automobile. This is the limousine body, very much custom built for Elvis Presley, certainly on the interior. And let's see if I can get into this thing with some degree of grace. Now, I don't know just how much of a shot we are getting of the interior of the car. We have it lighted to the point that it normally is not lighted when he's driving it. All of this that I'm pointing to now, this, the television set, the floor mats, the upholstery, everything is done in a gold motif. And all of the metal trim, for example, is actually 24-karat gold-plated. Well, you can see, obviously, that there is a television set here, and conveniently enough, it's tuned to, guess what, Channel 8. And there it is. Actually, we're shooting this, as you could tell, from within the studio, and reception inside the studio with all the electrical disturbances going on, and inside the car might not be the absolute best. Now let's take a look at some of the things that this interior embodies. This is what I would call sort of a toilet kit. Here's a mirror. There's an electric razor in there, shoe horn, brushes, nail brushes, shoe brushes, every kind of brush. We're told that when Elvis rides in this car that he likes to sit over here in this corner, so that most of this sort of thing is concentrated on the right-hand side of the automobile. Now, this is a hi-fi set right here, a solid-state stereophonic high-fidelity set. And I don't know where the speakers are, to tell you the truth, but they must be all over the car someplace. As a matter of fact, they even understand there's speakers under the front fenders so that if you're going through a town and want to use it as a public address, you plug it out of intercom and into PA. We'll leave it where it was in intercom. I just got the word that the speakers are actually in the ceiling of the automobile here. And there are 2 in the front and there are 2 in the back. Now, I can't remember how many gold records does Elvis have? 50 altogether. But we have 1, 2, 3, 8 here in the car, and I feel sure you can't see them. But these are the gold records with which he has been presented for having sold as many records as he has of these particular songs. And they're in the ceiling of the car. This is an interesting little gimmick for real privacy. See if you can pick up this porthole here. If you want privacy, that just goes in there like that. Presto, privacy. Okay. Now, a man in Presley's position obviously has to do a lot of traveling. And he also has to make a lot of appearances, and he has to look right and proper when he does appear. Therefore, dig this. Shoe shine. It's not plugged up. And I need a shoe shine. This is a television set, obviously, which can be turned to accommodate any one of the passengers here in the back seat. This is a refrigerator, an honest-to-goodness refrigerator. Ooh, that's working. That's cold. Where refreshments or what have you can be kept. And here, as an adjunct to the refrigerator, is an ice maker. I don't know, again, whether we're picking up all of these things or not. Ice maker, refrigerator, toilet kit, stereo, shoe shine kit. I missed something here. I don't know what this is myself. Little shaker for some juice. And again, I don't know how much of this we're able to pick up because of the television set, but this is actually an entire bar set with 6 glasses and all of the paraphernalia, jiggers and whatnot, ice tongs and so forth that you'd need for preparing your very own favorite libation. This is a record player, 45 RPM record player, and I can't quite figure this one out because you stick the records in there somehow or another, and it sort of seems upside down, but it does work. And, of course, that plays off the hi-fi system and is controlled by the stereo set over there. An ice bucket down here, and a record rack right here, record rack. Well, you can see that when Elvis travels, he travels in a great deal of style, comfort, and convenience. There's a little plaque here I'm sure you can't see. It's a gold plaque, and it says, "This Cadillac was designed for Mr. Elvis Presley by Mr. George Barris of Barris Custom Limited, North Hollywood." And we were kicking around just what the price of this might have been. And the closest approximation any of us could come to, and we have nothing definite to go on, is around $25,000. So that's all it takes to get a car equipped to suit you, that and selling heaven knows how many millions of records. Now, he can talk, Elvis can talk to his chauffeur in the front. By the way, he's got complete privacy by pulling these little curtains here. He can talk to his chauffeur. There's a telephone here, which I think it is chained down. They don't trust us. It's a gold telephone. The incoming calls, if the automobile is underway, come into the chauffeur. He screens out the calls that he thinks Mr. Presley would not like to take, and then talks to him and tells him he has a call on for those calls that he would want to take. So all together, it's a fascinating automobile, and it's easily seen why it could be worth a great deal of money. And that's it. I just don't know how much of the interior you were able to see, but it is a magnificent thing, and everybody here in the station is just about flipped on it. Let's see if I can get out of this automobile gracefully. Getting in and out of limousines is something that I just don't do every day. And there it is, Elvis Presley's gold Cadillac. This, for example, is, I don't know whether we've got it here, the rim around the headlights is gold-plated. Let's see where else there's gold plate on the outside of the automobile. I guess that's about all there is on the outside, and I don't blame them either. And, of course, the car is air-conditioned. It's got everything in it. So there it is, a conspicuous first for company calling and for Channel 8. The very first time Elvis Presley's gold-plated and gold and luxurious Cadillac has ever appeared on television. And we thank RCA Victor Records for making it available to us.
So I like it, boy. Compared to Las Vegas.
What made you decide to come to Texas?
Well, you know, to tell you the truth, I started out here in Texas. I think the first shows that I worked was down here, man, around Houston.
Remember what
all over
locations
Texas.
you worked here in Texas?
Well, I worked Houston. I worked Corpus Christi. Every little town here, Longview, man, you name it, I've been there. You know, really, I've been all over Texas.
What do you think of Texas?
I like it. I like it.
Elvis, can you
Really
give
enjoy
us,
it.
I understand with all the big engagements like Las Vegas, etc., the reason why you selected the livestock show and rodeo this year?
Well, they asked me to do it, and I was anxious to do some live appearances. You know, it'd been a long time since I've been on stage in front of anybody live. And I was anxious to do some live appearances, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to get in front of the people.
Have you ever seen the inside of the dome before?
Never have. It scares them. It's a big place, man, you know.
You've been known in the past as a king of rock and roll. Do you think your style has changed now from the days that you were king, or do you consider that still your style?
Well, I think the overall thing has improved. The overall sound's improved, I mean. But I think it's according to the songs, you know. It's just according to the songs.
Is your stage presentation still the same way it was, or have you improved on that?
Well, I just do whatever I feel on stage, you know. As I always did that.
Are you going to keep making films?
I hope to. Well, I'd like to make better films than the kind I made before. Well, better than the ones I made before. You know. Excuse me, I can't take this fresh air, man. I'm used to the garbage can at the International Hotel, man. If I can't smell some garbage, I don't feel at home, man, I'll tell you.
Do you have any films in the making right now, or any plans?
No, there's nothing in, as far as I know of, is there, Colonel? Anything in the workings?
I can't commit myself.
An 8mm Walt Disney special we're doing next year, I think. I don't know.
We're shooting some now.
There's nothing as far as I know, no.
When you look at your opportunity to go and try to fill up the Astrodome,
Well, it'll be the type of stuff that I do. It's a mixture of things, you know. It's a little rock and a little country western flavor.
Essentially the same show you do at the International Hotel?
Yeah, it's the same type of thing. A lot of different type of songs. So I just hope I can put on a good show, mainly.
What happened to the Jordanaires?
I can't get them out of Nashville, man. They got stuck in Nashville, and you know, they make so much money, and they do so well in Nashville. You can't get them out of there. You know.
Do you have any thoughts about the rising interest in country music?
I think it's fantastic. You see, country music was always a part of the influence on my type of music anyway. It's a combination of country music and gospel and rhythm and blues all combined is what it really was. As a child, I was influenced by all of that.
Do you consider yourself basically a country music singer then?
I would hate to say strictly country because of the fact that I liked all different types of music when I was a child, you know. Of course, the Grand Ole Opry was the first thing I ever heard, probably. But I liked blues, and I liked the gospel music, gospel quartets and all that.
did you ever pull out any of those old records from the Sun label and listen to them at all?
They sound funny, boy. They got a lot of echo on them, man, I'll tell you. But that's what I mean. I think the overall sound has improved today, you know.
In other words, you are available to the public only in films.
Yeah.
For a long period of time.
Well, I think the most important thing is the inspiration that I got from a live audience. I was missing that. I didn't.
Was it rough at the International? Was it a little bit of a strain on you for not being outside of
It was always tough, but I enjoyed it. I enjoy it. Like I know I'm going to enjoy it here because it's live audience and it makes a world of difference.
Let me ask you one thing. What's your father up to?
He's around here somewhere. Ask him. I don't know. Daddy, what are you up to?
Miss Presley?
Elvis,
I'd like
there's
to
evidence
meet
of such...
Mr. Elvis's father, Mr. Vernon Presley.
Could you come right in and sit down?
Vernon, don't sign nothing unless I
can't write. I never signed nothing.
It's just fresh air, man.
Elvis, there's quite an evidence of sartorial splendor. Does this indicate that the...
What?
What? The attire is not one that we're familiar with seeing.
It's, it was taken from a karate suit. Just a regular karate type outfit. Are they coming to get me? Is that it?
I mean, does this indicate that with your type dress and everything now that you're changing a little bit of style, perhaps, in deference to what you did a few years ago?
I don't know. I think that you'd have to see the show. You know, it's difficult to tell. I don't feel any different. You know. I don't think the dress has that much to do with it. I got the idea from a karate suit because I studied karate for a long time, and I had to make up a couple of suits like it.
What do you do for relaxation? You said you studied
Karate. If you can relax doing this, I don't know. No, I read a lot and go horseback riding and stuff like that.
Do you still live principally in
Memphis. About half the time. Yeah, half the time. Half the time in L.A.
In the show you have planned for the Dome, do you plan any of the old songs, some of the first ones?
I'd like to, you know.
Any special ones?
Try to a couple of them, just to see if they work.
We're really glad to have you down
Thank
here.
you very much.
Good to see you again. Elvis, let me pin this on. This is your official badge. And we got another one. Didn't want to put your name on, not that people didn't know who you were, but we were afraid they'd be trying to take it off waiting for a souvenir. We won't pin that on you. Mr. President, it's a real pleasure to have you down here with your son, too.
Thank you.
We think we're going to set all kinds of records down here.
I hope so. I hope I can give them a good show. That's the most important thing.
You will. No question about that. You sure will.
If I can give them a good show, then I feel like I've done something.
You
What's
will.
the biggest live crowd you've ever performed for?
If I'm not mistaken, it was in Vancouver, Canada, wasn't it, Colonel?
Cotton Bowl.
In the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. It was about, I don't know, 25,000, I guess, something like that.
Is Mr. Gracie
I
here?
think.
They're great. It's one of the men that started our livestock show.
Gentlemen,
One of the
this
great.
is Mr. Chris Caramanis, who was kind enough to invite us down here.
This is Mr. Presley's son, Bear Gracie.
I think he deserves a little recognition.
Well, I think so, if it's the right type of song. I think so. It's the right type of material.
You've made a couple of songs.
But yes, I have. I did, like, in the ghetto, and, I don't know. I wouldn't like to do all that type stuff, you know. Well, in other words, I wouldn't like for everything to be a message, because I think that there's still entertainment to be, you know, considered.